Welcome to CrossYoga and welcome to this power yoga class. I hope you're going to enjoy it and feel fun. You're going to get sweaty and warm and feel good in body, spirit and mind. Please take a seat and then we'll begin with a little bit of breathing. As you probably know, you can sit in any way that you prefer right now, but if you're seated, try to sit with a tall spine and shoulders maybe squeezed a little bit back. And then you can close your eyes. Maybe you inhale and sigh out. And this is cross yoga, which means that it is yoga with Christian faith involved, weaving in throughout the class. You're welcome no matter your belief. I think there is a lot of things to gain, whatever you believe in. But for now, just breathe. Bring your body, soul and mind to this moment. If there is anything on your mind that you would like to let go of, maybe you want to surrender it to God or to whatever you believe in, take a moment and do that. And always welcome to sigh out or shake out if you feel like your body is in need of that. I'll read a short passage from the Bible, and it's from Jesus' ministry and the early days of his ministry, walking around and talking to people and all of that. So it's from the New Testament, Mark 2, and it's called The Calling of Levi. And maybe it's nice to know that when the scripture here is talking about sinners, it is those who were not following the rules of the right belief back then, the law of Moses. And also the tax collectors were a bunch of people that worked for the occupying country, so to say, so that the Roman Empire was in charge of Israel back then, and these tax collectors were collecting money from the Israelites and gave it to the Roman people. So they were not popular. So just have that as a background information. Once again, Jesus went out beside the lake. A large crowd came to him, and he began to teach them. As he walked along, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax collector's booth. "Follow me," Jesus told him. And Levi got up and followed him. While Jesus was having dinner at Levi's home, many tax collectors and sinners were eating with him and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. When the teachers of the law, who were the Pharisees, saw him eating with the sinners and tax collectors, they asked his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" On hearing this, Jesus said to them, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but the sinners." And before we start moving, I just want to invite you to pause with Levi, just picturing him sitting there at the tax collector's booth. And then Jesus just walks along and says, "Follow me." And Levi immediately just get up and follow Jesus. I probably would have had some questions. I would have had to, make up my mind and what do I feel about it? What do I think about it? But Levi just went up. So what do you think went ahead in Levi's life? He was so ready to follow Jesus the minute he was called. I wonder what happened in his life that made him so ready to just walk away from his tax collecting life. And Levi did become one of the disciples, so it was not just follow him for one day, it was for his life. A radical move. Now make your way around into tabletop. Stack your hands under your shoulders and do your cat-cow just to warm up the spine gently. I'll get back to the story. Now, if you want to follow your breath with this, I would exhale as I move my spine up. Inhale as I do the cow pose. And you're welcome to incorporate your Ujjayi breath. It's really nice to do in flow yoga and in power, I think. And then next time you find an aligned spine, floor aligned spine, you can take your left hand just to begin there and lift up that hand for a bit of a twist and do dynamic twists. So coming down with the left shoulder on the mat or just hovering and then lift up your arm again. Keep that core engagement. And notice how your right arm, your right tricep is actually working quite hard if you choose to bend the elbow as you come down. Last one. And do the same on the other side. So right arm up, through the nails down on the floor for a spinal twist. And I'm following my breath here. I'm so used to it, so maybe you are too. But this is the last one. And remember, as we move on the mat and do the different postures, you're always welcome to pause. The most important thing throughout the class is that you listen to your body. You don't have to do exactly what I do. But bring your fingers more to the front. Now I have a large mat here, so I can't take it to the edge of the mat, but maybe you will. And bring your hip up and back and pedal your legs, opening up the back side of your legs. And from here, move into plank. Push the floor away from you. Navel in, and maybe you choose to come down on your knees at least the first time. Pointy part of the elbows pointing back, and then you lower down. Maybe all the way, maybe not. But from here, we're going to lift up again in plank. You can choose on your knees, and then into down dog again. For a little bit of a push-up as we warm up our arms. Let's do that a few more times. Come into plank, maybe on your inhale. Lower down. I prefer my knees here to begin with. Lift through the chest. The arms coming back into down dog. Let's do that with a little bit of more focus into our arms. So again, coming into plank, lower down on toes and knees.
Before you lift up, just listen carefully. Bring the shoulder blades back and squeeze the shoulders a little bit away from your ears. Push the hands into the floor and engage the muscles before you lift up. Engage the core and then lift up, maybe a bit slower than you're used to, and down dog. Try to do that again. It's such a great way to work with our shoulders. Last time, plank. Look a bit in front of you, lower down. Before you move up, shoulder blades back, tuck your chin a little bit in, long neck, lift up, and down dog. Amazing. Walk yourself to the top of your mat and fold forward. Maybe shake your wrists. Last bit of warming up, chair pose. And this, as it is a power class, you might go a little bit deeper than you normally would. Keep the pelvis tucked a little bit in. And then bring yourself up and bring your arms to the right side for a bit of a side bend. Coming back, bending down in your chair pose. Bring your arms back. Again, rise up. Stretching to your left side, Coming up. And again down. So let's breathe with this. Inhale, coming up, high mountain. Exhale to your right. Inhale, coming up. Huge move. Exhale, down, chair pose. Inhale, coming up. And left. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Coming up. And just follow your breath. You might be slower, you might be quicker than I am. And if you want just a little bit more, as you move to your right side, you can bring the arm a little bit out for more core engagement. Sit down. So keep the navel in as you lean to the side. And just one more to each side, and then I think we're pretty warm. And then find your chair there at the top end of the mat again. And let's go pretty low, and you can take your hands into prayer pose here in front of your chest. And then sit as low as you think you can. Maybe the thigh bone here comes aligned with the floor. And then hopefully you feel your legs. Now keep the left leg bended and see if you can keep the balance and lift your right leg back and find a variation of Warrior 3. And maybe extend your arms out. Keep the palms together this time. Bring the right foot to the back end of your mat, tuck the toes, finding high lunge. Pelvis again tucked in, and get the distance going here in between your feet if you want to really get endurance and all that. Twisting, so right elbow either hovering over the knee or kind of hucking down here. Now bring the top shoulder slightly back as you push the elbow into the front leg here. Untwist. Right hand down, maybe aligned with the front foot. And then you push that foot back for a side plank. Again, you know your variations on elbows or knees, or maybe you lift the top leg up. Bring yourself back, finding plank. Noticing if you're kind of leaning down into your back, or you can feel that engagement in the abdomen. Downward facing dog. Either stay here or do your vinyasa with that extra push-up. So inhale, plank. Maybe just go down and hover over the floor so you don't relax. Exhale down. Lift up again. And exhale, down dog. Jump or walk to the top of the mat. And again, fold forward. Maybe you sigh out. Finding chair. Again, going lower than you normally would if it was not a power class. Notice that your knees and your toes are pointing directly forward. Slowly engage your right leg even more than your left. So your left leg can be moved back with the both knees bended at least until we get into Warrior 3. Now before we had the palms together, you can do that again in Warrior 3. The hips are closed so that the buttocks here are somewhat aligned if you choose to feel your behinds with your fingers. And lower down, left foot, high lunge, just get yourself there. Palms together as we will be twisting again. Of course, this time to your right side, again, hovering or down with that elbow on the knee. Or when I say knee, I mean thigh, but it's close to the knee. And then push the elbow down into the knee thigh and the knee thigh into the elbow to lift the top shoulder up towards the sky. Keep the Ujjayi breath going. Unwind from your twist, left hand down, push the top foot back, side plank. So you come out on the edge of the foot there. This shoulder that's holding us, push down and put maybe a little bit back. And again, you can do your variations, lift up the top leg if you have that in you. Bit of balance. And then make your way back into down dog. Sigh out. Maybe you do your push-up again, that vinyasa. Exhale, lower down, hover over the floor. Are you with me? Lift up again. And down dog. Jump or walk to the top. Fold forward. And then find mountain. Hands down by your side. Close your eyes. Just coming back to the story very briefly. So who do you most think you are? Are you a tax collector or a sinner? Or do you mostly identify with those Pharisees that are kind of on the right side of the law, feeling that they know what is right and wrong? So who do you identify the most with? Bring the left foot back, warrior 2, so you pivot the back foot around. Bring the arms out and go for that wide distance, please. Keep your Ujjayi breath going if that's what you choose to do. Now follow this sequence. We're going to do it a few times. Front hand picks up, peaceful warrior or reverse warrior, so you lean back. Keep that core engagement. Maybe you take the hand off here. Now pivot or turn the front foot, but keep the top here, the shoulders, the spine towards the back foot. And then you lift up. You choose to bring your hands over your head still or take them by your hip. You're going to lean forward without hyperextending the knee. And we're going to pause when the spine is aligned with the floor. Now this is heavy on the back, so make sure the core is in. Lift up again. And then we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. So you actually just turn the back foot and find warrior 2 again.
this other way. Maybe you can't see the screen, but just listen. Warrior 2. Flip the front palm, lean back, keep the front knee bended, at least for a bit yet. Feel that side stretch in the body, the side body towards the front bended knee. Lift the back hand off, so you're kind of hovering the hands with like holding a ball. And then you turn that back foot around for a wide stance as we did before. Lift up. And again, leaning forward. Hands in top of your head or by your hip. Lifting up. Again, finding warrior 2. And let's repeat this just a tad faster. So peaceful warrior, lean back. Keep that. Take the hand off if you want to. Turn the back foot, lift up. Lean forward, navel in. Lift up again. Warrior 2, gazing at the back of your mat. Peaceful warrior, lean back. Hand off. Stay put with the side bend here before, when you turn that back foot, lift up. And one more time, leaning forward. Up again. Just one more time through, warrior 2. Flip it, lean back, hand off. Turn the front foot, extend both legs up, lean forward. Maybe you bring your arms out to the side this time. Lifting up again. Warrior 2 at the back of the mat. Flip the palm, lean back. Stay with the spine as you move the back foot. Then you reach the spine up. You can take your arms out as we lean forward, still keeping the spine aligned with the floor. Take one breath here. And then lift up. Warrior 2, but just pivot and step back into your down dog. Stretch that back of the spine, the back of the legs. Again, push up, plank, hover, push up, lift, and you're down dog. One more time. Inhale to plank. Exhale, lower down. Lift up, inhale. And down dog, exhale. Jump or walk to the top of the mat. Folding forward. And you can choose to stay put. Or one more time, finding your chair pose. Gonna prepare for a little bit of a handstand here. So feel that engagement in the thigh. And then you're going to find yoga squat. This means that you might just choose to stay here if there's anything with your knees. Now, you can just stay gazing at the front. I'm going to turn so you can see. I let my toes point out, so typically I would have my toes out of the mat. And then sit down like this. Keep the elbows squeezing the thighs out. Maybe you want to go lower than I do here. I'm a little bit mindful of my knees. You can stay put or do a crane or crawl, whatever you want to do. But typically you would take your hands down on the floor. You would bend the elbows and take that pointy part of the elbows back. And then put your legs or your knee on the tricep, the back of the arm there. So some people it hurts a little bit, but you just get used to it, okay? So knees in, gaze to the front, and then you're just gonna stay here and lean in. Maybe more of the feet comes up, and then eventually one day you'll have your full balance here. Hug in the knees on the elbows. And you're welcome to jump up and down just a little bit, because sometimes it's not nice to stay for too long. And just try to find that balance, playing with it. Release tension in your wrists.
easy pose. Coming back into yoga squat. And then you bring your right hand underneath your right leg there. Take the other one behind you. We're not going to go into what is called bird of paradise. Just going to stay here. So I'm kind of binding, extending both legs, binding for a stretch. And just see if you can't see what's happening at the back. You just stay there, but your head comes down. All right, coming down again, opposite side. So your left arm goes under the knee. Don't bring it up under the hip there. It's not so nice. If you can't reach, maybe you have a sock or a strap. And release. Make your way into your mountain pose. And maybe catch your breath, get your shoulders back. We're almost where we're ready to stretch. Just one last bit of fun here. So you'll be staying at the top of your mat. And then lift your right leg up. Bend your knee. And maybe your hands can come out to the side to help you balance. Then you bring your knee out. The shin here, try to lift it up. See if you can align it with the floor somewhat. From there, move the whole leg back. Engage the thigh. See if you can balance. And maybe keep the leg bended as you lean forward. And then take the knee under yourself so that the knees are somewhat hip width apart. Let's do that one more time. So lift up. Engage your core. Bring the knee out first. From here, turn, lift the shin up. See if you can line it. The knee is pretty much out. I'm trying to keep my core somewhat up here. Move the legs slowly back. I hope you don't get cramps. And then as you take the knee back, almost like your foot is walking on the ceiling, keep the knee bended, hip closed, and see if you can keep balancing as you stand up, mountain pose. If you weren't warm before, I hope you are now. Same procedure, other side. Lift up. Keep the knee bended, bring the knee out. Keep the left hip in as you turn the shin. You're going to engage the glute medius and minimus here. Bring the leg back, go for the arms out, or maybe like a broken warrior 3. And see if you can stand slowly. This is stretching in an active, mobile way. One more circle here. Stand tall. And as we take this broken warrior 3, you may think back to these sinners or broken people, as the Pharisees would probably call them. But Jesus saw not broken people. He saw willing people. And bring it back. Mountain pose. Lean forward, pigeon pose. Right shin on the floor there. We're going to stretch exactly that part of the body that we were moving before. Point the toe. You can always come back on your back and bring the knee up for a bit of a similar stretch on the glutes. Are they staying on your hands or coming down here? See if you can release tension in your hip and just let it kind of drop down on the floor. getting out of this. I like my down dog after this one, so I take my hands down, lift up, and bring yourself back. Opposite side. Now, I was asking before who you identified with, the Pharisees, who felt righteous, or maybe these tax collectors or sinners. I know I can identify with both, to be honest. Sometimes I really think that I'm on the right path and I know what to do, and other times it's like, I'm a mess, right? But hopefully I am not so proud that I will not ask Jesus or join him for dinner when he invites me, right? Right, you can come out maybe on your left hip there and bring your feet to the front. Plow pose, or just leaning forward. If you have any neck issues, don't do plow, please, or any back issues that you're mindful of. Just sit here, maybe bring your hands underneath your knees for a little bit of a release on the hamstrings. Now, if you want to go for plow pose, you would have a look at the screen before you do it, because I don't want you to move your neck when you're down there, okay? Important, don't move your neck. So look, if you want to do it. So you come up here, on your shoulders, lift the hip up, maybe extend your legs, maybe the feet can reach down, maybe not, maybe just hovering. And if this is enough for you, you can come down and close your eyes and just stay until I say more. Don't move your neck. Stay with your eyes closed. Just listen to my voice. If you're in plow pose, bend your knees. Bring your hands up on your hip if they aren't there already. And then slowly bring your hip back down on the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. So bend your knees and bring your feet on the floor when you're down there. And if you're seated, please come down on the mat as well. Windshield wiper your legs. Now, sinner in original Hebrew, so the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, and of course sin was a term that's both used in both Old and New Testament. And today it might have a very bad meaning, and it is not a positive meaning. But back in the Old Testament from Hebrew, the word actually just means miss the target. So if you were throwing something and you missed the target, you were sinning. And I like that, because how often don't I feel like my life doesn't really hit home? I don't always get it completely right in bull's eyes, right? So if this is the meaning of sinners and a sinner, I can identify completely with that. Butterfly pose, so bring the sole of the feet together, knees out, last stretch before resting. So Jesus came, as he said in the last passage, to reach out to all of us that might feel like we're not really getting that full life, or that we sometimes are missing out, missing the purpose. All of us that feel disappointed, like something just went wrong. We didn't expect it, but it did. Life took another turn. We missed it. And that's how we feel.
But love, or God, came to meet all of us that don't think we have got it all together. And I'm really grateful for that. Bring your knees together. And then just a short resting time here. Feet dropping out to the side, hands on the floor. And maybe just think about how God is reaching out to us, not because we have it all together or because we know how to pray or we know how to look holy, but because we are maybe broken, or maybe just feel like we missed a little bit of what the whole point is. God reaches out to us wherever we are, whoever we are. And as we finish our time together, maybe you, like Levi, hear God's, or Jesus' answer or question rather. Come and follow me. Follow the path of not trying to be perfect, but receiving grace and love as strength, stepping forward. And don't stay seated. Get up and follow the path of love. Take a deep inhale, and maybe you yawn out or sigh out. Move toes and hands and fingers and everything. Maybe you open your eyes. As you know, you are welcome to stay down on the floor. But if you're ready to take a seat, do that. From my heart to yours, thank you. Blessings on your path. And I hope to see you again very soon here on the channel.